Office is a TV show that ran for 9 seasons and is considered to be one of the greatest comedies of all time. Most people watch the show for Jim and Pam's romance or Michael and Dwight's hilarious stupidity, but some of us watch it to try to solve one of the most interesting TV theories on the internet. The one recurring detail throughout the series that was never truly solved was the identity of the Scranton Strangler. If you're an Office fanatic like me, you know that the Scranton Strangler is an unseen criminal who is famously known for strangling others in the Scranton area. So without further ado, here's my theory on why Toby Flenderson is the Scranton Strangler.
No, God!
Everyone who has seen the show knows that Toby Flenderson is an HR rep for Dunder Mifflin. At first glance, you might think that Toby is a shy, sad man who couldn't do anything wrong. I'm not only going to prove that Toby is indeed the Strangler, but also show what motivated him to become a psychopath. During the first few seasons of The Office, we can see the anger and frustrations Toby is going through throughout his life. For one, his boss, Michael Scott, completely hates him and is rude to him every chance he gets. To add to this, Toby has also gone through a failing marriage which ended up with his wife leaving him. He struggles to bond with his daughter and has a boring low-budget job. Toby never gets to speak his mind without getting interrupted by one of his fellow office workers. This has to build up a lot of frustration in someone. In Season 3, it seems like things are about to get a whole lot better for Toby when Pam is finally single. Toby had a crush on Pam for a while and took his opportunity to ask her out. This of course fails when Toby gets too nervous to ask her, which brings Toby back to his miserable life. To make things even worse, throughout the rest of the season, Toby has to watch Pam as she falls in love with Jim. In the Season 4 episode, Dunder Mifflin Infinity, Toby tries to stop Jim and Pam from performing PDA in the workspace by sending out an email to the whole office. This is of course out of pure jealousy of Jim and Pam's newly formed relationship. Later that season, Toby awkwardly places his hand on Pam's leg. Once realizing the terrible decision he made, Toby abruptly announces that he's leaving to Costa Rica.
I'm moving to Costa Rica.
Then quickly runs out of Dunder Mifflin and hops the fence. In search of a new start to his life in Costa Rica, Toby only lasts a few days. He ends up breaking his neck on a zipline accident and gets hospitalized in a foreign country for months. This is the moment that I believe that Toby becomes the Scranton Strangler. He has had so much misfortune in his life and couldn't even catch a break in Costa Rica. Toby has completely lost it at this point. He feels like nothing good will ever happen to him, so he decided to get his revenge in the town that started all of his misfortune, Scranton, Pennsylvania. Toby returns from Costa Rica in Season 5 with a completely new goal in mind.
These are silent killers.
You are the silent killer. Go back to the annex.
You'll see.
Michael?
Yeah.
We first hear about the Scranton Strangler in the Season 6 episode, The Deliverer. This episode, completely based around Pam giving birth to her first child, is seen in the beginning of this episode, at the office, but never shows up to the hospital when Pam is giving birth, even though everyone else from the office is there to support Pam and Jim. This is a very important detail because the very next day, Andy gets Cece a present of the morning's newspaper which reads, "The Scranton Strangler strikes again." How ironic. The night Jim and Pam were having their baby is the night that we first hear about the Scranton Strangler. Now we already know that Toby has feelings for Pam and is the only one from the office not to be present at the hospital. So, this makes me extremely confident that Toby strangled someone that night to release his anger from the fact that Pam was having a baby with another man. Flash forward to Season 7 when things get even more interesting. In the Season 7 episode, The List, Robert California takes a group from the office to the restaurant. And Jim starts talking about how his daughter Cece loves tickling. Toby suddenly says, "I should not be here," and leaves. There could be 2 reasons associated to why Toby was so uncomfortable with this conversation. Either he is uncomfortable talking about Jim and Pam's baby, or he formed a connection from the tickling with strangling. After all, both acts have to do with an unwanted placement of hands on the body. Next up we have episode 7 of season 7, the christening. Jim and Pam's daughter Cece is being christened at a church. In the episode, Toby struggles to enter the church. He finally goes inside the church at the end of the episode and asks God, "Why are you always picking on me?" This shows that Toby feels some sort of guilt that is preventing him from entering the church, maybe strangling people? The very next episode of the show, Viewing Party, the episode starts out with everyone in the office, besides Toby, huddled around Toby's desk, watching the Scranton Strangler get chased by the police. There are 3 crucial things to notice in this scene. 1. Toby is not present at the office, which means he could be the man in the car getting chased by the police. 2. Toby's office phone rings during this scene. This couldn't be a work call because Aaron, the office receptionist, is not at reception to forward the call. This leads me to believe that the person calling is actually Toby. I think that he was going to confess to the office that he was the Strangler because he thought that he was about to be caught anyways. 3. The Scranton Strangler's car that is being chased by the police has been seen in one other episode. The exact same green 2000 Mercury Cougar is seen in none other than the Scranton parking lot in the first episode of season 6. This means that the Scranton Strangler has been to Dunder Mifflin at least once. I tried finding what car each employee of Dunder Mifflin drove throughout the show. No one was seen driving the 2000 green Mercury Cougar. This doesn't prove Toby innocent, however. Toby has been seen driving multiple cars throughout the show. The first one being a silver blue Saab 92X wagon way back in season 2, Take Your Daughter to Work Day. The other car he was seen driving is a Subaru Impreza in the season 8 episode Garden Party. Now there is a good possibility that Toby could have owned a different car in the years between season 2 and season 8. Moving on, in season 7 episode 11, Classy Christmas part 1, Toby gets selected to be a juror for the Scranton Strangler case. In season 7 episode 21, Michael's Last Dundies, Toby states that he is not sure if the suspect is actually guilty anymore. How did Toby go from being so sure that the suspect was guilty to being completely unsure if he put an innocent man in jail? Well, this is because Toby is the Scranton Strangler. He eventually started feeling guilty for putting an innocent man in jail and told others. The final episode in this theory is episode 16 from season 9, Moving On. In this episode, Toby goes to confront the Strangler in prison. We later see him in a neck brace because apparently the Strangler strangled him. It's odd that we never actually see that scene. The way I see it is that Toby either faked the injury to show Nellie that the man in prison was actually the Scranton Strangler, or he confessed to the man in prison that he was the true Scranton Strangler, and the man was so outraged that he ironically strangled Toby. That is my theory on how Toby Flenderson is the Scranton Strangler. What do you think? Do you think someone else in the office is the Strangler? Or that Toby actually put the right man in jail? Leave your answers in the comments and make sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel if you found it interesting. Thanks for watching.